Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon on assignment in Chicago.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, Chicago, where Northwestern and the Bears just happen to be playing this weekend.
I think I'm gonna bail on one of those. You want to guess which one?
You're going to bail on the Bears. You're never going to bail on Northwestern. Even though they're like 70-point underdogs to Ohio State, you're going to that
29 and a half. 29 and a half at Wrigley Field. Yeah.
That's a lot. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Chiefs face the Bills, Tennessee travels to Georgia, and Mike Tyson gets into the ring with Jake Paul. But we begin today with the Eagles beating Washington last night, 26-18. The critical play of the game may have come with 8:01 to go when Washington coach Dan Quinn elected to go on a 4th and 2 from the Eagles' 26-yard line with a score of Philadelphia 12, Washington 10. The play failed. Jaden Daniels was tackled behind the line of scrimmage. The Eagles took over and quickly scored 2 touchdowns, and they won handily. Wilbon, do you put this loss on Quinn?
No. I would not have made that decision, I don't think. I think I would have played the kick of the field goal because I'm from that era, that generation, that time of sort of coach decision-making. And all the coaches I've covered 100 years ago, and you too, would have kicked the field goal. But we're in a new day and time. I don't begrudge him, Tony. It didn't work. But I got to tell you, when Jaden Daniels, when he planted that right foot in the ground and started to run right, and he always gets to the marker. He always gets to the first down marker. So I thought, okay, he's going to make it. And when Philadelphia got those defenders out there and shut him down and closed that corner, it was like, whoa. Whoa, this is a game changer, obviously a great play. So I want to credit the Eagles with getting out there and making a play that really no defense I've seen, and I watch every one of their games, have been successfully able to make. It cost them the game maybe, but I'm not going to say he blew the game in some way. I'm not.
Yeah, so we're going to have honest disagreement here because I sat in this chair a couple of weeks ago and I said I agreed with Todd Bowles of Tampa Bay when he went for the 1-point conversion, not the 2 against Kansas City, and you took the other position. A couple of days later, I said I agreed when Zach Taylor of Cincinnati went for the 2-point conversion against Baltimore. Both those teams lost, and I still defended the calls. I'm not defending this call because it's an indefensible call, and now I will tell you why. There's 8 minutes to go in the game, okay? It is a 12-10 game. It's a very low-scoring game. You kick that field goal, you get to 13-12. Your field goal, it's a 43-yard field goal. Your kicker's been with the team for 2 games now, but he's 3 for 3. The other kicker, the Philadelphia kicker, has already missed 2 field goals and an extra point. So if it's 13-12 and you call on him for the game winner, that gets a little bit dicey. And plus, I think it's a bad play call against a very good rush defense. Philadelphia's got a very good rush defense.
Call. You got this guy being the rookie of the year and on the short list for MVP.
He's hurt, Mike. He's hurt. He gets taped on the sideline all the time. I completely think it's a terrible call. And by the way, you know how we talk a lot about MVPs and we almost exclusively talk about quarterbacks? Saquon Barkley is a bona fide MVP candidate.
Yes, he is.
He's now ahead of Derrick Henry in yards rushing and yards per game rushing. He had 146 rushing last night. He had 52 running and 2 touchdowns. He's bona fide. We disagree. I think that was a terrible call. I do. Terrible call.
Tony, again, as I started the segment, I would not have made that call. I would have kicked the field goal. Terrible. I mean, we can. There's a lot of room between I wouldn't have done it and terrible.
It's the middle of the 4th quarter. You go up, you take the points.
Yeah, but they got the MVP, Saquon Barkley, who busted along when he might have been figuring that if you're Quinn. I'm just saying.
That's right. No.
Sunday's NFL schedule has some great matchups, and one of them, unbeaten Kansas City, the champs, visit the 8-2 Bills in Buffalo. They haven't lost at home all season. And in another, the 7-2 Steelers host the 7-3 Ravens. As Booger McFarland detailed yesterday, Lamar Jackson has historically struggled against the Steelers' defense. This is a small sample size, just 4 games. He's 1-3. Tony, which is the more intriguing game to you?
All right, just let me answer that, and then I'll get to the larger answer. He's 1-3 against them. In 4 games, he has 10 turnovers and 7 interceptions. That's not good. That's not good. So let me get to the answer here. I would pick the Chiefs at the Bills because it has that feel to me of the Colts and the Patriots when Peyton Manning and Tom Brady used to do this.
That's
because
fair.
I think that
That's
Patrick
fair.
Mahomes and Josh Allen are big stars. I think they're heavyweights. Josh Allen has the best of him in the regular season, but nobody has the best of Mahomes in the postseason. And my feeling about the other game, about Pittsburgh and Baltimore, is because they're division rivals and they play each other at least 2 times every year, it has a more common feel to me. Now, it's a wonderful game. Russell Wilson has really improved the Steelers. He's 3-0 since he became the starter. They are not offensively challenged anymore like they've been over the past amount of time with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields. But they're not undefeated, Mike. Kansas City's undefeated. They're the last team. They're 9-0. That makes it more special to me because if you knock off a 9-0, that's a real big deal, a bigger deal to me than knocking off either a 7-2 or a 7-3.
Yeah, Tony, we're splitting hairs here. I'm going to watch both these games, so it doesn't matter, which one is bigger. They're both huge.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Buffalo have played often enough, but that's common. It's not division common, but they've played often enough between the regular season and the playoffs. We've seen it. There's no great intrigue there. It's not like in 1927, the American League playing the National League. It's not that. And in Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Tony, I know that neither one of those teams is defensively what it has been in Super Bowl years when it's rock'em sock'em robot time. And that's what I still identify with. That's what I still want to watch. But there's an element, the toughness, the grit, those two cities, what they mean. Lamar Jackson, to me, is still above all the others on the short list. And I agree with you on Saquon Barkley moving up. But Lamar Jackson's at the top of that list to me for MVP, right?
This year.
And I want to see what Steelers, I want to see what Mike Tomlin's got for him. And let's see if Russ can continue that kind of offensive display and getting down the field against a vulnerable Ravens defense, vulnerable like we've never seen before when they're a good team. So I'm going to narrowly edge, and we're talking about tiebreakers.
That's fine.
I'm going to take Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
I will point out that Pittsburgh is 7-3 in the last 10 against Baltimore. 7-3. That seems decisive to me. Let's turn to tonight's boxing extravaganza. Mike Tyson, one of the great heavyweights ever, against Jake Paul, a YouTube celebrity turned boxer. Paul is 27 years old and weighs 220 pounds. Tyson is, 58 years old and is entering the ring at 233 pounds. Wilbon, what, if anything, is at stake for Tyson tonight?
Absolutely nothing. Are we going to forget the fights against Michael Spinks and Razor Ruddock? Are we going to forget the great knockouts and Tyson coming into the ring? You and I have been ringside for this at times.
Yeah.
When he comes in like this to mama say knock you out, and he's got the white towel that he's torn and put over his head, and it looks like he has no socks and the black boots. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't care what happens tonight. I don't care if Mike Tyson comes out in a LeBron James jersey. I wouldn't care. It doesn't matter what he does. Mike Tyson also is not a stranger to us. We've covered the good and the bad, the sublime and the bizarre. Mike Tyson's son, Amir, was our intern. Let's have full disclosure at PTI. Loved having him, got to know him. I know Mike's much of his family. This is not some dude from Mars for you and me. We've known him for forever. I want to see it. I think I'm going to pay for it and watch it. Nothing is at stake for Mike Tyson. Nothing.
You don't have to pay for it. It's on Netflix. I know you have Netflix.
Okay.
You're not going to have to pay for it. All right, let me just talk about Tyson for a second. I don't know what's at stake for him either, unless he plans to get back in the ring and try to be champion again, and he's not going to do that. Maybe some small slice of his reputation, but I'm agreeing with you. Nobody who saw Tyson in his 20s is going to be moved at all by anything that happens tonight when he's 58 years old. Okay, so this is not going to be hit and giggle, if I'm correct about this. This is real hitting. And I think it was Tyson who first said, everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. And it's not going to be like Floyd Mayweather against Conor McGregor. It's not going to be a real boxer against a guy who likes to try to kick you in the face. I mean, Paul is now a real boxer, so any advantage Tyson might have if he was strictly an MMA guy, that's gone. I think I speak for both of us. I'm old, you're old. We're rooting for the old guy. Mike Tyson is incredibly important in the history of boxing.
Yes.
I don't think this Paul kid would be in The Hangover with a tiger. I don't think so. And Tyson was. That's, Tyson was. Let's take a break. Coming up, does number 7 Tennessee or number 12 Georgia have the edge when they meet tomorrow?
And should we root for the Bengals or the Chargers to win Sunday night's game? It's Mike Tyson. This other dude, it doesn't matter who the other dude is. He's a stand-in. Right. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
I'm glad it's not Chris Paul. Right. This Paul I don't care about.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by...
Time for toss-up. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, finishes the show, then naps for 4 hours before waking up to watch Mike Tyson fight like this was 1986. What's first?
Toss up, which way are you leaning tomorrow? Number 7 Tennessee or number 12 Georgia?
Now, I'm leaning towards Georgia, Mike. I think they have to win this. I think they're done if they don't win. That would give them 3 losses and, more importantly, would basically eliminate them from the SEC championship game. I know I've said to you that I think an SEC team with 3 losses can get into the playoff, but I think you have to be in the SEC championship game if that is going to work. Tennessee has 1 loss. It's not as critical a game for them. If they get a second loss, there's 30 other SEC teams right now with 2 losses, so I don't think that's a big deal. And I like Georgia, obviously, because Georgia is at home, but I will tell you, I'm leery about the quarterback, Carson Beck.
Yeah.
I believe that in his last 4 games, he's had 9 interceptions, Mike.
Yep. It gives you pause, Tony. But Georgia's not going to lose this game between the hedges. And if that means running the ball 65 times or benching Carson Beck, they'll do it. They're not losing this game at home. This is pretty much, to me, as close as you get on a Saturday between 2 worthy teams as a guarantee. I mean, Georgia's lost, they lost on the road. They lost tough games. They lost at Alabama. They lost at Mississippi. Those are 2 top 10 teams. They're not losing at home to Tennessee. They will rebound, and we will go back and forth. You and I will have plenty of time to go back and forth about the 3 losses because I think the committee will find a way, if it can, to put Alabama or Georgia in with 4 losses. Because it's just, it's just like hitting likes on social media. Tony, it doesn't matter. It's an invitational. It's the SEC Big Ten invitation. That's why I'm not going with you and Booger. You're not going to drag me down this path. It's not that I'm not excited about the season. You guys tried to divert that yesterday. No, it's this bogus poll. It's this bogus thing on Tuesday and the show that comes with it. They're going to put as many SEC teams and Big Ten teams as they can stuff into the 12, and Georgia's still got a real shot if they win this game, and they will.
That'd probably be 7 or 8 of them as they could stuff in there. What's next?
Toss up, which team would you rather see win Sunday night's game, the Bengals or the Chargers?
Okay, I am partial to the Bengals. I am partial to their offense. I'm partial to Burrow to Chase. I mean, they score so many points. They lose a lot of games, but they score so many points. They're so much fun to watch. I don't really have a good read on the Chargers. I know that they're in turnaround of sorts with Jim Harbaugh. I know they're 6-3 at this point. Maybe they would be a playoff team. I also know they don't score a lot of points. I think it's actually under 20 a game. They seem sort of pedestrian to me, Mike. I mean, they are remarkably unglamorous for a Los Angeles team. So I will cast my fate with the Bengals.
Well, they're not a Los Angeles team. They're still a San Diego team. Thankfully, they have those jerseys, and I hope they're wearing the baby blues. I mean, let's face it. You want to see those baby blues. The 2 most interesting uniforms to me in football these days, they're both kind of baby blues, even though Mississippi's are a little darker. How about those Ole Miss uniforms they wore last week? Those are great. And the Chargers, Harbaugh and Herbert. I'm going to root for them. I don't root against Jim Harbaugh. I just don't.
Really?
I rooted for him since he was a quarterback in college. Even though I never root for Michigan, I rooted for him. I rooted for him when he was drafted by and played for the Bears for about 7 seasons, it seems to me. My memory may be failing me. I think it's about 7 seasons. I love Jim Harbaugh. You know, I wanted him to be the coach of the Bears, and I'm proving to be right on that score, too. Yeah, I don't care about the Bengals. Boomer Esiason is not there anymore. Carson Palmer's not there. Those are the guys I rooted for. They're long gone, 50 years gone. I'm rooting for the people in the baby blues, and I like Justin Herbert, and I think he's undervalued. It's not an L.A. team. It just isn't. They may play there. Nobody in L.A. even knows they are there. They ought to play in San Diego and Petco. That's where they belong.
For years and years and years, you said the Chargers took a nap. You got to prove to me they won't do it again this year. That's it.
Naps.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, is LeBron or Wembanyama more likely to put up huge numbers tonight?
And what should we expect out of Caleb Williams and the Bears offense against the Packers Sunday? This is not about Caleb Williams and the offense. This is about the Bears as a team. They've fallen and they can't get up. This is about the franchise, the team, not Caleb Williams.
But he's part of the team. He's the overall number.
Responsibly, part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 23rd birthday, Wyatt Langford. The left fielder for the Texas Rangers was a rookie this season. He batted .253 with 16 homers, 74 RBI, 19 stolen bases, 74 runs scored. Nice numbers. But in September, he was the American League Rookie of the Month and Player of the Month. That's only the 11th time that's happened since 2001. In September, Langford hit .300 with a .996 OPS, a league-leading 8 home runs, 20 RBI, and 25 runs scored. Over the course of the season, Langford became the second player ever to hit a walk-off grand slam, hit for the cycle, and hit an inside-the-park home run in the same season. The other player, Mike, Jackie Robinson in 1948.
Well, you know, when you put Jackie Robinson in a sentence, I was going to say to you, there's too many numbers and firsts in this tribute, this birthday tribute. It's like the kid is Babe Ruth. But then when you get Jackie Robinson in there, you know, and you say he's the first one since, that's not the first one since last week to have 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5.
You're right. Happy anniversary, Melvin Gordon. On this day 10 years ago, the Wisconsin Badgers star running back rushed for 408 yards to break the single-game major college rushing record before sitting out the fourth quarter in a 59-24 rout of Nebraska. Gordon surpassed LaDainian Tomlinson's record that he'd held for 15 years. Gordon got to enjoy being at the top of the heap for exactly 1 week, because the next week, Oklahoma true freshman Samaje Perine rushed for 427 yards and 5 touchdowns in a victory over Kansas. Perine is now a backup running back for the Chiefs, and Gordon is out of the league, having last played for Baltimore.
Yeah, Tony, I still, you know, I guess being a kid growing up watching Big Ten teams where often nobody in the whole league in the 60s and 70s and 80s could pass the football, I still take a certain amount of pride in watching great running backs and pile up numbers. And even if it's a cheesehead in Wisconsin, I still think that's pretty cool. And I love when I see it now on Sunday, which is a whole lot less frequent. Saturday, excuse me.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley opened a lot of eyes last night being that kind of running back.
Yeah, that was fun.
Happy trails to last night's game for the Winnipeg Jets. As Wilbon predicted, the mighty Jets fell to the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-1. The Ning, as Wilbon calls them, were well rested, coming off a 7-day layoff. 7-day layoff? And they stifled the Jets' league-leading power play, which went 0 for 5. It's only the second loss of the season by Winnipeg against 15 winnings. Also last night in the NHL, Connor McDavid scored to become the 4th fastest player in league history to reach 1,000 points. He's behind only Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Mike Bossy. Good company. McDavid is also the 4th youngest to that mark. The 3-time MVP later added a backhand assist to beat the Predators in overtime.
Look at that play. Bossy. Tony, Bossy only scored fewer than 50 goals one time in his career, the last year he played. We don't mention Bossy often enough with the short list of great players in the NHL, starting with Gretzky, sorry, Bob Ryan. Why isn't Bossy even ahead of Bobby Orr, even though I know Orr is the greatest defenseman of all time? Bossy, 4 championships, and that was your team in your youth, wasn't it?
My team, New York Islanders, baby. Long Island's own. Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do
Packers
it.
visit your Bears on Sunday. Your expectations for the Bears offense.
And it's not about the Bears offense to me. It's about the Bears. They can't get up. They have no spirit. I want to see them respond and breathe and play. Be the monsters. U.S. men's soccer team beat Jamaica at Kingston last night 1-0. Is that significant?
I don't know if it's significant. It's nice. The Suns at Thunder tonight in a battle of two of the top teams in the West. Who you got?
Yeah, the Thunder, Beal's out, KD's out. Nobody plays in the NBA right now, hardly anybody. LeBron and Wemby, they're playing tonight. You intrigued?
I'll watch the highlights. I mean, if they were to guard each other, it would be different, but that's just not the way it works. It's not one-on-one. Last one, your Bulls at the unbeaten Cavs tonight. Are you smelling upset?
No, the Bulls could have beat the Cavaliers in Chicago a few nights ago, but didn't, and now the Cavaliers are looking for something a little more hefty.
We're out of time. We will try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. You're going to watch Purple against Ohio State tomorrow, Tone? Few series from Wrigley
Is
Field.
that the noon game? Right, that's the noon game. I'll watch that. I'll root
Your
for you.
Sports Center.
Bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon. How does last night's win impact the Eagles' standing in the NFC?
Tony, to me, I mean, if they lost that game, it becomes more of a jumble, right? Because you're losing a division game to a team that's still staring you in the eyes, but that's not the case. They won that game and they pulled away to do it, and they won impressively. And so, to me, it's Detroit and Philly. And I don't really know who's third. I mean, Washington's fallen off with a couple of losses, not bad losses, but fallen off a little bit. And Green Bay, we still got to see. The Vikings, I guess, would be right there as number 3 to me, ahead, yes, of San Francisco, and I'm still trying to figure out what to make of Arizona. But I would say second, a solid 2 to Detroit. You can make the argument they're as good as Detroit. I'm not going to make it, but they'd be there with the Lions, underneath the Lions.
I'm a little bit more keen on San Francisco if they get healthy than you are, because I've seen them do very well in the playoffs. But the Eagles are sneaky good at the moment. They've got a real good defense. They've got a methodical offense, but it's a methodical offense that can throw the ball and run the ball. Okay, they can throw it to A.J. Brown. They can run it with Saquon Barkley, who is a bona fide MVP candidate.
Yes, he
now,
is.
last year, they collapsed. They totally collapsed last year at the end of the year. So
10-1 to 11-6.
that could happen again. That could happen again. I don't know if it's going to happen again, but it's why I went on the air yesterday and I said, get off Nick Sirianni already. I mean, here's the guy's record since he's coached the Eagles. He's 33-11 in the last 2+ seasons. He's 42-19 since he's been here. He's made the playoffs every year and he's made the Super Bowl. But every day I wake up, somebody is saying he's destroying the team and you got to get rid of him. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe last year that was true. I haven't seen it yet, and I don't know that it's going to happen again. They look like a good team to me.
Tony, just to put a fine point on his record. Okay, if we go to his record after 4 seasons, you know who he's better than in terms of winning percentage? Let me just read the last names of people he's better than, ahead of on this winning list. Shula, Hallis, Brown, as in Paul Brown, Dungy, Seifert, Reed, Lambeau, and a guy named Belichick. 4 of those people are probably in the discussion, not probably, for greatest coach of all time. Shula, Hallis, Brown, and Belichick, and also Andy Reid may join it. He's on that list, so I know it's 4 years. It may be kind of a small sample size, but it's not one. It's not 1 year or 2 years. It's pretty good. That's it. We're done. Back to you.